All right, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy Akeen, and welcome to today's blog. Now, I know I have been gone for the past couple of weeks, but over this past weekend, we all see the NFL Draft Combine, and it's time for me to give you my top 5 players for each position coming into the 2012 NFL Draft. For starters, today I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. Now, I have a good set of players to look at this season, especially the top 2 players, but I'm going to start at number 5, Brandon Weeden of Oklahoma State. This kid has a good arm, and he ended up breaking school records for the past 2 seasons at Oklahoma State. He had a great career coming off a big win in the Fiesta Bowl over the Stanford Cardinals and Andrew Luck. And I think this is a good player, but the problem is he didn't really get too much experience under the center. He had a lot of plays in the shotgun formation and in the spread offense, a system offense. But in the NFL, more teams need a quarterback who can get under center and take a couple steps back and understand the players on the defensive side and understanding their reads. And he had not to deal with so many adjustments playing with a system offense at Oklahoma State. And another issue that people are worried about is his age. He's coming into the season turning 28, and he's going to be older than some of the starters coming into this year in the NFL. And I really think that's a big concern because it takes a couple of years for a quarterback to develop in the NFL. And if it does take him a couple of years, he's going to be 30 in his 30s, which is pretty bad. So we are probably going to be looking into a couple of good seasons and then to a quick retirement. But I still think he is a great investment, and I think he's a good chance that you should select him later in the rounds. Probably a second or third round selection coming into this year's NFL Draft. At number 4, I'm actually going to go with Brock Osweiler of Arizona State. This kid has the measurables, 240 pounds at 6'8". This guy definitely has the look. Only thing I'm a little bit concerned is that he had a great productive year with 26 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, but he only had one big season, and we haven't really seen too much of Brock this year. But I really think this kid could be a great first round selection in the late first rounds. Probably now there's a couple of teams who are fighting to get a quarterback in the first round in the NFL Draft, so he might make it to the first round. But I think he's a good second round selection, particularly by Miami Dolphins. They really need a good quarterback, and I think they should look at him coming into this year's NFL Draft. At number 3, Ryan Tannehill of Texas A&M. This kid has a big arm. He has decent mobility. He was a former receiver, so he understands how to have a great connection between the quarterback and the receiver. Now, there are a couple of teams who are trying to get to the top 10, like I said, like the Miami Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns are looking for a quarterback, and the Washington Redskins, especially the Washington Redskins. They're looking to trade down, and they probably could pick up Ryan Tannehill in the top 10. I don't really think he's top 10 really worthy, but we have seen last season a couple of big surprises with Christian Ponder and Jake Locker, both being top 15 selections in the NFL Draft last year, and that can happen again this year with Brock Osweiler and Ryan Tannehill. Now, I do like Ryan Tannehill, 29 touchdowns this season. He needs to work on more of a better presence in the pocket, but I really think he could develop to become a good quarterback, especially being a former receiver, having a great wide receiver quarterback connection. He understands the receiver position, so that could be a great advantage for him. At number 2, Robert Griffin III of Baylor. Now, I had a hard time debating between Robert Griffin III and Andrew Luck being the top quarterback for the NFL Draft. Now, between the 2 players, honestly, I really think Robert Griffin III has a lot more going for him because he's a better mobile quarterback, in my opinion, and a better athlete, a better talent than Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck is more of the safer selection. That's why I had to go with him at number 1 for the quarterback position. But back to Robert Griffin III, he had a great career at Baylor. Each year at quarterback starting, he has improved as a passer, and everybody knows that he has the ability to run the football. So I really think that the Indianapolis Colts who picks first overall this season, they really need to take Robert Griffin III a lot in consideration for this first pick because of how mobile he is, and he has the ability to run the football. And plus, they're looking to sign up Pierre Garçon, and I think he could make a great connection with Garçon coming into the Colts. Now, at number 1, I already mentioned him accidentally, Andrew Luck of the Stanford Cardinals. Now, this was no surprise. This kid had each year he did better in college football, and he is a great true leader for this team, and he is the safest number 1 pick coming into this year's draft. He had a decent workout at the NFL Draft Combine. He ran a 4.67 40, which is pretty fast for a quarterback. Unlike Robert Griffin III, he ran a 4.41. But this kid, he had a great experience under center, just like Robert Griffin III, but Andrew Luck's shown more experience under center, and he has a little bit more talent under the pocket than Robert Griffin III. So that's why I had to put him at number 1. Now, I need to give you a couple of players, honorable mentions that you guys need to look at. Starting with Kirk Cousins of Michigan State, he had a great workout in the NFL combine, and he ended up being the best quarterback throwing in that combine. So he definitely boosted up his stock over the past weekend. Now, a player that you really need to look at, another honorable mention, but he did not do too well in the NFL combine, is Nick Foles of Arizona. I really think that this kid could become a good starter in the NFL. He just needs to spark up just a little bit and become a true leader. He just needs to work on his leadership, and I really think he could carry a team behind his back, but he just need to work on his maturity just a little bit. But I really think he just has so much talent. I just have so much good feelings about Nick Foles. Each year of his college football career, everybody expected him to do better, and he did somewhat do better, but not to his full potential, and I really think he could become a good starter in the NFL. Now, my sleeper this season, I'm going to have to go with Kellen Moore of Boise State. Everybody's forgetting about him. Now, the reason why he's actually ranked below many of the quarterbacks coming into the NFL draft is mainly because of his size, and he does not have a strong arm, but he's a big winner. Now, talking about his size, he's 6 foot and 191 pounds. If he was just a little bit bigger, a lot more teams would definitely look at him for the NFL draft, but I still think that he could be picked well in the late rounds. Now, the reason why I believe that he's a key sleeper is because he is a winner at Boise State, making it into BCS bowl game, and actually a BCS win over TCU a couple of years back. And I really think Boise State quarterback Kellen Moore, he could become a good quarterback in the NFL, just like Nick Foles. He had a great career at Boise State, 43 touchdowns this past season, and honestly, he had one of his best years of his career as a senior, and he had to start with new receivers coming into the last season in the NFL and college football. Austin Pettis and Titus Young were in the NFL, so they had no. So Kellen Moore had to deal with new receivers, and he still had a great productive year, especially in that first game against Georgia. He could play against top-notch quality teams, and I really think he could do well in the NFL. Just the reason why everybody's putting doubts on him is because of his size, but this kid is a winner, and he can make anybody look good, just like Tom Brady did for the New England Patriots. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys is on Saturday to give you my top 5 running backs. Thank you for watching this vlog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.